Yeah, so let me tell you about my project.
Yeah.
So I've been interested in the way that art is used as a financial vehicle, and particularly interested in the way that art can be used to launder money, and laundering, like in the broader sense, you know, like both literal laundering of money, but also like as a device to shield people from taxation. And
oh yeah.
So I was doing this sort of research. I make videos, and I was doing kind of research about money laundering, and then I just kind of realized that maybe I could actually just like launder money. We have a show that opens next week. In the room, there's going to be an artwork by a different artist, this artist named Buck Allison. And over the course of the show, I am hoping to launder money through the acquisition of this artwork. So that's the plan. And I've been like talking to different people about, you know, how, like, what the sort of right way to do this would be.
Basically, you want to create a shell corporation scheme to launder money as part of his art project, and you need to figure out basically the nuts and bolts of how to go about doing it.
Yeah, and I'm interested in,
and
like,
how do you turn that into a video?
FinCEN, the U.S. federal government's financial crimes enforcement network, defines money laundering like this. Through money laundering, the criminal transforms the monetary proceeds derived from criminal activity into funds with an apparently legal source. Money laundering is a modern crime. The first federal statute to specifically criminalize money laundering, the Money Laundering Control Act, was passed by Congress in 1986. It is estimated that between $200 and $500 billion is laundered annually worldwide. In 2020, a Senate investigation concluded that the secrecy of the art world makes art an attractive instrument to hide illicit assets. Transactions are often private, prices are speculative, and an item can be easily smuggled to evade authorities. In 2019, global art sales reached $64.1 billion. In order to understand money laundering, we first need to understand the nature of money. Money is an ancient technology that emerged from barter. As early marketplaces grew more complex, a number of problems arose, chief among them the coincidence of wants. If I knit socks and you make pies, and I wish to purchase one of your pies, I have to hope that you want socks. In order to solve this dilemma, you and I might select a third object to serve as a medium of exchange. This third object is something we call money. Money is not a substance, it is an idea. If we agree to it, anything can be money. Here are some things that have served as money in the past. Knives, hatchets, hoes, nails, gold, silver, copper, seashells, shark teeth, barley, tea, tobacco, salt, and cattle. Since money is a concept and not a form, you can transform money from one thing into another and into another. Money laundering is a three-part cycle. In the first stage, placement, the money launderer transforms or converts her wealth. For example, she might convert a pile of dirty cash into a cashier's check or deposit it into a bank account in a series of small transactions. This initial cash is now one step removed from its origin.
So this is my plan. I'm going to get $4,000, which is how much the art costs, and in cash. And then I think I'm going to transfer that cash to some kind of cashier's check. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I think so. So, so I've been in the wealth management business for over 40 years. You know, a lot of people in the financial world don't really understand art projects, especially conceptual art.
Right.
And so it's not you, it's them.
Over the course of the 19th and 20th centuries, European and American art underwent a series of changes, starting as something that looks like this, and ending as something that looks like this. This transformation has sometimes been called the dematerialization of art. Gradually, art moved away from its visual and material components. Art was no longer concerned with the quality of light and darkness, the play of color, the texture of paint, or the rhythm of composition. Now, art was about the idea, the concept, the transfer of thought from artist to viewer. In 1913, the artist Marcel Duchamp affixed a bicycle wheel to a stool. Bicycle wheel was the first ready-made. Art is an act of selection. Bicycle wheel isn't rendered in paint or pencil. It isn't fashioned out of plaster or clay. Rather, it is a mass-produced commodity, purchased by the artist and presented as art. With this gesture, Duchamp changed the terms through which we encounter art. When we look at bicycle wheel, the question isn't, is the art good? Is it well made? Is it beautiful? Because who can distinguish between one mass-produced object and another? When it comes to the ready-made, the questions are more philosophical. Is it art? And then, what is art anyway?
Tell me more about the things that you might need.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's really just like this question of how to go about setting up the shell corporation. And also, like, I've been talking to people, and it seems like in the United States, like, a lot of this activity is run through Wyoming.
Through where? I'm sorry?
Wyoming.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and if you Google Shell Corporation Wyoming, these websites pop up that are like $1.99, and you'll get like a registered agent, and we'll do everything for you.
Oh, cool.
In stage 2 of the money laundering cycle, layering, the money launderer undertakes further acts of concealment, creating distance between the money and its source. Layering mechanisms may include business entities like shell corporations and other fronts, and often involve offshore accounts in an attempt to create a complex paper trail. Okay, so I'm now driving to Ehrenberg, Arizona, because California is a two-party consent state, which means that if I call somebody, I have to tell them that I'm recording them, and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to drive 3.5 hours to Arizona so that I can make some phone calls.
Good afternoon, Wyoming Registered Agent. This is Angelica.
Hi, my name's Maura, and I found your website on the internet, just like looking around, and I was curious about starting an LLC with a registered agent in Wyoming. And then, like, I'm wondering also, like, is the registered agent thing, like, could then the company be anonymous, like it goes through that person instead of through me?
In Wyoming, everything is kept off record for an LLC, so your information would never be put on public record. We don't report managing members or anything like that.
Okay, cool. And then how long does it take, typically?
We usually get them filed within the same business day.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. That's great. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, I guess that's all I really had to ask. Thank you.
All right. Well, if you have any other questions, give me a call.
Okay, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
So when you say set up an account, you mean like at a bank? You know, who is, you know, what's going on here? Like, what's the purpose of this corporation? And I would not use the phrase shell account, you know. and also, you know, they're going to want the account is going to have its own tax ID number. You know, a reputable bank like Chase is on full alert for you know, shenanigans.
Right.
You know, which is what you're trying to do deliberately. You know, not
right.
not for any. You know, it's not like you're, you know, a Russian oligarch and you're trying to launder money. But
no, I'm just curious.
Yeah, you're trying to do it on a smaller scale.
Right.
Coins are an old and popular form of money. Historically, they were made of precious metals, their value assigned by weight. They are durable. They are portable surfaces which can be inscribed with the faces of important men. They are mass-produced and uniform, which promotes their social acceptance. The emergence of paper bills marks a turning point in the history of money. Unlike metal, paper has no claim to intrinsic value. It is a ubiquitous and relatively worthless material. Paper currency represents the transformation of money from physical object to pure concept. A piece of paper represents a promise and nothing more. At first, currency still pointed to the tangible realm. US dollars were printed with the promise that they could be converted into gold or silver. But in 1971, President Nixon ended the gold standard, ushering in the era of free-floating currency. Now, our money simply says, "In God we trust." Between 1966 and 1972, Duchamp's ideas were taken up under the banner of the conceptual art movement. Artists like Sol LeWitt, Joseph Kosuth, and Robert Barry declared their intentions to make art that rejected the visual components of the art object and instead favored the concept. Over the course of roughly 100 years, art was transformed from paint, plaster, canvas, and metal to nothing: a set of coordinates, a line of text, a telepathic message. As art becomes more invisible, the concept, the pure idea, takes over. One of the paradoxical effects of art's conceptual turn is that as art becomes more invisible, the underlying economic conditions that govern artistic expression become more visible. What separates a work of art from a bicycle wheel? $1.7 million. In 1969, the artist Robert Barry released 5 volumes of inert gases, helium, neon, argon, xenon, and krypton, in different locations around Los Angeles. The gases were odorless and colorless and would expand infinitely into the atmosphere. 2 years later, in 1971, money was also untethered from the earth. No longer bound to gold or silver, it expands all around us. It takes the form of paper bills, checks, and credit cards, but more often than not, it's a matter of electronic signals or pixels on a screen, the kind you're looking at right now. This is an artwork called Untitled Hands by Buck Ellison. It is a photograph, but it was not taken by the artist. It was licensed from the stock image company Getty Images for $33. Like Bicycle Wheel, it is a ready-made. The description of this photograph states, "Group of business colleagues clapping hands." The color palette is cool. The hands float in an empty white space. Navy and gray shirt sleeves are visible. The hands are Caucasian and masculine. The men stand in a row clapping. The depth of field is shallow. Only the hands in the center front of the image are in focus. In the foreground and background, the hands fade into a pleasant blur, suggesting a potential infinity of businessmen clapping forever into the void.
Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Cool. So I've got I got the money. So I'm wondering when I can come and pick up the art.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually in Canary right now, so if you can come, I don't know, in the next 1 or 2 hours, I'll be here.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay. And I've got a check. Who should I make the check out to?
Make the check out to the Canary check.
Okay, perfect. I'll see you soon.
Okay, great. See you soon. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
The final stage of the money laundering cycle is integration, in which the money launderer converts her money back into a form she can enjoy. In this last stage, a layering mechanism like a shell corporation can be used to purchase an asset. Sometimes this asset is an artwork. The important thing is that this asset creates the appearance of legitimacy. Now you have a paper trail, an invoice that accounts for the source of your wealth.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of, maybe not straightforwardly money laundering, but a lot of, financial shenanigans that are just, happening at galleries everywhere all the time. People buying things using only first names, people buying things and never picking things up, the galleries pretending that things have been bought, but actually just buying them up themselves to make shows look sold out,
Yeah, that for sure.
Yeah, just a kind of a lot of low-level stuff like that happening basically all the time.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're gonna have to get out of town as when this thing comes out. You're gonna have no friends left.
I know.
And forget about ever showing in a gallery again. This will doom you.
So great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
for all
you
your
too.
help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Money and art have a special relationship. Art is expensive, and the art world is discreet, even secretive. Prices are subject to speculation. Like money, art is a social agreement. Anything can be art, and anything can be money if we agree to it. After the money launderer completes the final acquisition, she has a number of options. She can sell the work at auction. She can use it as leverage for a loan. She can put it into storage and watch it appreciate. Or she can simply hang it on the wall.